been in that situation when someone gives you a gift and it just looks too good to be true? And you're like, whilst I appreciate this gift, but what's in it for you? Like, what's the catch? Because sometimes when someone actually gives you a gift, you want to ask yourself, why are they giving me this gift? It's not even my birthday. We're truly witnessing a shift, a quiet but powerful transformation in how the world actually engages with Africa and how Africa is choosing to show up in the world. And this is a story that tells exactly that. China recently announced something big that they've officially removed all tariffs on imports from every African country. That's huge. Now, I know on the surface, it might sound like just another trade deal, but trust me, this is not business as usual. I must say, I think it's a signal that Africa is no longer just being mined or extracted from. We're being actually positioned as producers, exporters, contributors to global trade. And this time, it's on our own terms. And I love to see it. So under this new China-Africa Economic Partnership for Shared Development, African countries will now have access to the Chinese market with zero tariffs. That means whether it's cocoa from Ghana, leather from Ethiopia, textiles from Nigeria, Kano in Nigeria, or shea butter from Mali, all of it can actually enter China duty-free. Now, why is this such a big deal? Because, I'm just raving about it. Because for decades, Africa has been locked into a trade pattern that only worked for the West. We would send out raw materials, they would send back finished products and then mark them up 400% and then sell them back to us. The same minerals dug from African soil become expensive phones, weapons, luxury cars, and the list goes on that Africa could barely afford. But now that cycle is starting to break, right? What China is doing is not just about trade. It's about opening the gates for Africa to become what it was always meant to be in the first place, which is a global supplier, not just of resources, but of finished goods, of innovation, industry, and the list goes on and on. And yes, I know what some people are thinking. You probably might be thinking, but it's China. What's the catch? And honestly, I'm thinking that as well. It's a very fair question, right? Because history has taught us to be very cautious, especially when global powers actually come bearing gifts. But here's the thing, the power is shifting. And we now get to actually choose who we partner with and on what terms, because it has to be by our rules this time. This isn't about blindly trusting anyone. It's about leveraging new opportunities to actually break free from an old system that never worked for us in the first place. And you know what? Let's talk numbers, because maybe it will make more sense. In 2024 alone, trade between China and Africa hit nearly $300 billion. That's not small money. That's serious leverage. That's evidence that Africa is not a side player anymore. We're a major contender in the global economy. In fact, we've always been a major contender, but now it's more glaring, right? And with the African Continental Free Trade Area, which is the AFCFTA that is already in motion, this new Chinese tariff policy could be a game changer for us, right? It encourages African countries to trade more with each other, to build together, to produce together, and to export together. And I think I spoke about this on one of my previous videos. Just imagine what that could do for our economies, for jobs, for innovation, for the future of our youth. But you know what? Let me be real with you. This moment is not just about trade, it's about narrative, right? For too long, the world has treated Africa as a charity case, helpless, waiting for aid. But with this new partnership, it tells a different story. It says Africa is ready. Africa is strategic. Africa is rising. And I keep saying, I think that that's my mantra. Africa is rising. And we're seeing a new generation of African leaders, entrepreneurs, thinkers, who are not afraid to actually say, we want to own our industries. We want to tell our stories. We also want to dictate our future. Let me leave you with this. You see, removing tariffs is not the final step, but it's a bold one. And if we can actually play our cards right as Africa, if we protect our interests, we strengthen our institutions, we demand transparency, this could actually be the beginning of something powerful, because the future isn't coming to Africa, it's coming from Africa. And the world is finally beginning to see this. My name is Ify Igwe, reporting from Nigeria. What are your thoughts? Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to